people could actually hear us. Let's see. All right, we got sound. Good. Welcome. Welcome back, folks. This is episode 125 Under the Rug podcast. My name, Gregory Colley II, joined by Mo Fire, Giovanni, Harrison Johnson, professional fighter.
Yes.
Should I say kickboxer or fighter?
You can say fighter.
Fighter, okay. So you don't just do kickboxing. Why you what?
I ain't say nothing.
I know you ain't saying nothing, but your face said everything just now. I see it on your face.
No. Fighter, because that's what we do. We fight. We fight. You know.
All right. Fair enough. Well, back again. Last week you weren't here. But we were talking to Dr. Pamela Mills, who was discussing mental health, which is a very important topic that gets ignored all the time in this country, especially. We had a pretty good show. Gave us some good information last week. A lot of people said that they really needed it. It really benefited a lot of people, including me. I took the advice because I was going through a rough time, and it has been pretty rough for everyone. And it really helped me a lot, that discussion that I had with Dr. Pam. So if you missed it last week, the last episode, please go ahead and check it out. It's right there on the page, Under the Rug Media, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can look for Under the Rug. We have the episodes on there as well. But today, we're going to be discussing something different. It's not new. It's something we've discussed many times. It's something that's discussed all the time. And we've also had these types of discussions on the show before. But again, something that took place that sparked, this conversation. And so we're going to talk through it once again. And that is, of course, racism. And I titled the show Racism. And then I asked the question, will it ever end? And this, of course, was sparked by the Jacob Blake incident in the United States, where another black man shot by police thankfully survived this encounter. Didn't die, but from what I hear, thankfully survived. Because this story, we hear it all the time. The ending, the person usually dies, and so thankfully he's still alive. But unfortunately, it seems as though he may be paralyzed. Go ahead. What's the but?
No, I let you go on segue into that same but right there.
Okay. Yeah, it's just unfortunately from what I've heard, he may be paralyzed from the waist down. But the doctors aren't sure if it's for life. But for right now, he's paralyzed from the waist down. And another sad part of this story is this, again, it's nothing new, but 3 kids were in the car when he was shot. His 3 kids were in the car when he was shot. And again, we see police officers, white police officers, shoot an unarmed black man multiple times. And from what I understand, and in the back, and from what I understand, there's been no arrests, no firings as yet. And so here we go again. And, this year, we had the George Floyd incident that sparked so many protests across the United States. And here we are again. Same thing, same story. Nothing has changed. So your thoughts, first of all, Gio, before we do a deep dive, just your surface level thoughts on this particular incident.
It's tiresome, man. Like, I just get tired. It's kind of like someone, man. It's always different posts you see, different quotes you see, and even certain thoughts you come to yourself. And everyone talks about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and their mind always goes to war or tragic events in their life. They never stop to think like people, regular day citizens who witness stuff like that. Like his children have PTSD right now.
For sure.
All right, whatever loved ones were around right then, they have PTSD right now. Like that is something that's gonna scar them for the rest of their life. And for me, it's funny, not funny, ha, because like you said, you had the George Floyd incident this year, and that wasn't even long ago. That was like yesterday. All right, that was not that long ago. That's still fresh in everyone's mind. So to have another incident like this happening, right? It's kind of like, but these police don't care. They clearly don't care. And I watched that video. I watched the video, and I was just like, this is odd. Everything about that video was odd to me. All right, this saying how should I put it? And the claim is always the same. Oh well, they were in fear of their lives, you know. Or we
Mhm.
thought he was going to the car to get a weapon. It's just like if y'all thought, at what point did you think he was going to the car to get a weapon? Was it when he started going to the car? Was it when he opened the car door and he was inside the car? Was it when you put your hand on his back, on his shirt, and shot him in the back? Because like that's weird to me. At that point, it's just like
Mhm.
you had all this time in the world to stop him from getting to that vehicle, but you
Right.
chose not to.
Right.
So clearly he wasn't that much of a threat. If you thought that,
Mhm.
oh well, I'll just let him get to the car, you know.
Right.
Oh wait, what's he reaching for? Let me shoot him. So it's kind of like, yo, like at no point did this guy pose a threat. He did. Like just looking at the video, I was just like, but this dude looked like he just going home. All right, like I
Yeah,
say,
he
I
was
just
walking very casually.
very casually. He wasn't hurried. He didn't see. He was just like, all right, cool, whatever. You all out of thing, say I gone. Right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Bam, 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 bam. Shoot him in the back. Sever spinal cord.
Seven.
All right.
7 times.
I think they said he had uh, 2 punctures in his stomach. All right. He also had a gunshot wound to his kidney, I believe.
Mhm.
So yeah, even though he's
Mhm.
alive, thank God.
Mhm.
But life is not going to be the same for him after this.
No.
His
No.
his quality of life has greatly diminished.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, and people don't take into consideration just the mental once again the mental aspect of this.
Mhm.
All
Mhm.
right, because now here you have it's like, man, you need to thank God you're alive. Why? That might not be his mindset.
Mhm.
All right,
Mhm.
because now you have how old was he?
Like 29, I think.
All right, so he's
Fairly
29
young.
years
Yeah.
old. 29 years old. He's pretty much lived 30 years of his life a certain way, fully
Mhm.
functioning man.
Mhm.
So now you're telling him he has to live possibly live the rest of his life as a paraplegic or
Mhm.
paralyzed
Right.
from the waist down. So that's
Right.
that's a huge adjustment.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a huge adjustment that people. Oh, he should just be happy. He make it. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure he's happy he's alive. But I'm pretty sure on the flip side,
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
another side of that coin.
But Gio, what do you say to those? Because you're gonna have it. I'm sure you've already seen it. You've already seen it because we've seen it all at this point. The people that are gonna say, well, why didn't he just listen to the commands? Why did he resist? Why did he go to the car? Why did he go inside the car? Why did he not just listen to the police
I
as
don't
some
even
form of justification for the action that the police take?
I don't even address those people anymore because it's evident
Why not?
that it's because that's a losing battle. That's a losing battle. I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to argue with people or debate with people that don't want to see the truth. They know the truth. They just don't want to see it. They want to see whatever fits their
Mm-hmm.
narrative, whatever fits what they want to
Mm-hmm.
believe. All right, and I don't
Right.
have time for that anymore. Because at the end of the day, I
Mm-hmm.
know what the truth is. Okay, and of course, yeah, evidence is going to come out. We're always going to see the same story. They're going to besmirch this man, dig up his criminal past. Oh well, he wasn't that
Well, I've
that
already heard that.
exact. That's always a narrative. That's always
I've
a
already
narrative.
heard that. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's just too old a story for me to sit down and be like, oh well, that's not what happened. This is what happened. You can see what happened. Well, why is it when I show you a clip of this white guy being completely aggressive with the police officers and he gets away alive, and this guy is not acting in a threatening manner at all and he's dead? Oh well, it's different. Yeah, it is different. One's white, one's black. If you can't, that's the only difference I see. You can't show me nothing
Mm-hmm.
else. That's
Mm-hmm.
a bigger difference. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we could bring up Tamir Rice. We could bring up Philando Castile. What's his
And
name in
yeah, and I
Walmart?
was gonna say,
I think
yeah, I was
it's
gonna
John
say that we
Crawford.
have we have cases, yeah, we have cases where they did follow orders and still were killed. So like, what
Exactly.
do you
Like
say there? You know what
that.
I mean?
Exactly. It's just like, and like in my mind, it's baffling because even with the Breonna Taylor case, right? She was
Mm-hmm.
sleeping. She wasn't doing nothing. She dead. And
Mm-hmm.
people,
Yep.
what people said? Oh well, she
What did
shouldn't
they
have
say?
been around. Oh, she shouldn't have been around that environment. Oh well, she shouldn't have
Really?
been associated with those kind of people. But like the people make excuses for the police. That's
Right.
what it is. That's what
Uh-huh.
it is. No matter what happens, they will always make an excuse for
Well,
the
I think
police.
they make excuses for any person or group of people that they support. You know,
Yes.
and I've said
Yes.
many times on previous shows, it's not the deed that people necessarily have a problem with, is who does the deed. Because
Yep.
you can have two different people do the exact same thing, and based on your relationship with that person, that would determine how you feel about what was done. And so it's
Yep.
not the deed itself, it's all about who did it. And so
Who's
if
doing
you
it?
support the police, or you support whatever institution or whatever or group or person is being accused of something, you're going to look at it through a biased lens if you like that person or support that person in
Yep.
some way, shape, or form. And
And
that's why, go ahead.
gone.
No, I was just going to say, and this is why I titled the show "Will It Ever End?" because it seems to be human nature, and I understand it to a degree. It sucks, but it's human nature for us to either make excuses for or justify actions of people that we support. And it's been happening since I've known myself, I'm sure long before me, and I just believe that it's going to continue to happen. It's very unfortunate, but I don't really see it ending, because no matter how much we protest, no matter how much we fight, no matter how much we oppose the things that take place, and we do our best to try to change things, it doesn't seem to ever change. Because like, it's 2020, Gio. It's 2020. And like you just said, we just had the George Floyd incident a couple of months ago, right? And all of the outrage, Breonna, I mean, the many, like, we could, if we would have named the incidents, we would take up the rest of the show.
Right.
You understand? We could take up the rest of the show just naming every incident that's similar. And so, given that, it doesn't give me much hope or belief that this will ever change. I don't know your feelings on that, but that's just me personally.
No, I agree. I don't. How should I put it? At this point, it's I don't care for things to change. If
Oh,
that makes
really?
sense. Not to be negative.
Explain that one. You got to
I'm not
explain that one.
meaning for the longest, especially Black America, even over here, but
Yeah, because I see Ann is asking, say, does systemic racism impact lives in the Bahamas? We can get to the Bahamas too, because this racism exists everywhere. You understand? Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And you've told us before about the stories in Thailand, and so it's everywhere. So we'll get to the Bahamas, but we just wanted to, just to speak about this recent incident because it's most recent, but we're going to get to a general sense and speak about the Bahamas too. But carry on with your point.
Like especially in the States, I've realized that for the longest, and like Black people stateside patient. They patient bad. Because they waiting on something. They waiting on something that ain't gonna never happen.
Never get.
All right. And I always liken it, and I think I told it to you before, is I always liken it to this. Why do you want to go to a party that you're not invited to?
Exactly. I never understood it either.
Why do you want to be around a group of people that on every occasion and every instance and every opportunity make it clear that they don't want you around? They don't appreciate you. Why do you want to be at that table so badly? You create your own table. All right. That's the part where that's what I'm leaning to. That's what I want to see. I want to see that. That's what I want to see, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, they don't care about y'all. They don't care about us. Because if I go to the States right now, they just see me as a Black. They ain't gonna notice my accent. I just a Black man. So they don't care about us.
Right.
All right. So at the end of the day, I all for and I never understood it. And I always use the whole Magneto, Professor X, Martin Luther, Malcolm X analogy. It's kind of like, well, Magneto was like, hey, look, whatever. We just could be over here for the betterment of us. Y'all don't mess with us, we don't mess with y'all. All right. Professor X on the other hand is, oh well, we want to coexist, and nigga, why? Why? Like years and years. And the thing is, like, you look at the civil rights movement, right? And it was like, yay, civil rights. And ain't nothing changed. All right. This right here is just another civil rights movement that should have happened back then.
I mean, things have changed, just not enough. Just like you have, I'm sure certain laws and stuff have changed, but it's not enough because, like you say, the same types of things are still, taking place. You know what I
Exact. It's
mean?
the exact same
Yeah.
things. Black people still getting lynched.
Mm-hmm.
Black people still getting lynched. And they
Uh-huh.
all well, we have a suicide. So what black person is hanging themselves, boy? I ain't saying that
Uh-huh.
don't happen, but
Right.
what black person is go out and hang themselves outside their home? If they could kill themselves, they could do it inside their home. They ain't gonna go out
Mm.
and about and do that. Let me go hang myself from this tree. What? That's the
Mm.
history that blacks up with lynching. You think that's their go-to move?
Mm.
Really? Whatever.
Mm.
All right. Then you
Yeah.
have all these murders, all these. Let me not say that because I don't have evidence as murder, so that's me speculating. But all of these deaths. All right. I remember, and I always go back to this high school kid who was found rolled up in the mats in the gymnasium. They found them dead.
What?
Right. They found them dead, and they ruled it a suicide. They ruled it a
Really?
suicide. I'm sitting there, it's like, so you mean to tell me this
How do
boy
you
kill
roll
himself
yourself up?
and roll
But
himself up
yeah,
and
how do
then
you
kill
roll yourself
himself?
up in
Like,
a mat?
how? Like, explain that to me. Explain it to
Right.
me. And then on top of that, they were talking about how his body was brutalized pretty much. It's just like, well, you mean this dude beat himself and then kill himself, or
Mm-hmm.
beat himself, roll himself up in his mat and then kill himself, and then stash himself at school so no one could find him?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, it doesn't.
I ain't no Sherlock Holmes, but that don't make sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't even hear
All
about
right.
that story. But that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But exact. It's just so many.
Right.
It's so many.
Uh-huh.
It's so many instances.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see. I want black people to say, look, we for us. Let them be for them. Now, mind you, if y'all want to be for us too, cool.
Right.
We don't have no
Right.
problem with y'all coming and vibe with us. It's just saying, like, if you ain't for us, that's cool too. Just stay over there.
Right. Right. And it reminds me of what Doc Rivers said, coach of the Clippers in the
I was
NBA. For
watching that.
those that may not know, but Doc Rivers, what I took mostly from his comments, because they asked him about the incident after the
Yep.
game, and what I heard, or what resonated with me the most was, I don't know why we continue to love this country so much when it doesn't love us.
Yep.
When they don't care for us. They don't care about us. I don't understand why we continue to love this country so much. And I used to ask myself that very question. It's just like you said. I don't know why people want to go to a party so badly that they are not invited to. And I always used to wonder, like, why? And I mean, I get it. You're born there. You feel very much a part of it. You feel ownership in that place. And
Yeah.
so, you know what I mean? That's why I get that. But it's
Yep.
it's a tough situation.
I tell people, and you will have people say it. It's kind of like, oh well, why don't you just leave if you're not happy here? It's like, pause. I didn't ask to be here.
Hmm.
Secondly, my ancestors built this place. So as
Hmm.
much as you don't appreciate it, and much as you may not like it, I have rights to this country too. Now,
Hmm.
what they need to realize is they need to take their collective rights and just come together. All right,
Hmm.
that is the only thing the black community needs right now.
Unity.
That is literally, yes,
Yeah.
unity is the only thing the black community, and I mean like real unity. All
Hmm.
right, mind you, I am not going to belittle all the times blacks have come together in the past and just
Right. Because
been
I saw someone
completely
mention
murdered.
the Black Wall Street incident.
Bro, it's so much. It's so much. It's not just Black Wall Street. All right. It's a whole
Hmm.
bunch of different
Hmm.
incidents where
Hmm.
black communities were thriving. For whatever
Hmm.
reason, white people didn't like that.
Hmm.
Niggers shouldn't have money, and they gone on and burn it to
Hmm.
the ground, killing people.
Hmm.
Tulsa, Oklahoma is and will always be probably, I shouldn't say, modern day, big as they talk about. Oh well, uh, I forget, it was a gay club where the guy went and he shot up, and it's like, oh my god, this is such a tragedy. It's the worst event in history. Yeah, in
Orlando.
Orlando, it's the worst killing and mass
Right.
killing. I was like, no, it's not. Y'all better go look up the numbers in Tulsa, like
Yeah.
thousands. But y'all dropped bombs. Y'all literally flew planes over and dropped bombs on those people, and y'all thought it was
But
right.
see that. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. You got to look at the color of the people that were killed.
Exactly.
And the value that they hold, and the people that are
Exactly.
saying
So
that this other it's worse.
It's not until, and I always like when I see athletes saying, "Yeah, but I'm playing." I love to see that. I love to see that. Mind you, it may not seem like a big deal, but at the end of
Right,
the
because I
day,
want to ask about that.
all right, at the end of the day, if every athlete, and I ain't even say every, if every big name athlete in the NBA right now say, "Hey, look, we ain't playing no more," all right, that could hurt some people's pockets. Disney paid. The only reason why the NBA season is going to continue right now is because Disney already paid the NBA $10 billion to help them continue the season in Orlando.
Now,
Right?
see, this is
That's
the
the only
issue.
reason.
But let's get into that because, well, you've already stated you love when you see athletes say being playing. Now, me initially, I'll be honest, I was I was a bit confused. I understood that they wanted to do something, wanted to take some stand, but my
Yeah.
confusion came into where how does this sit out or protest fix the actual issues that we are encountering? How is this going to help and fix those issues? Now I get it.
Mhm.
Now to me it just seemed like a knee-jerk reaction. We have to show,
Yeah.
like, when something happens, we have to
Yeah.
do something. We have to show that
Yeah.
something we want to take some kind
I
of
gotta
stand.
share this post. I gotta
Yeah,
share these
yeah.
posts and show
Right.
everyone
To
I'm
me,
concerned.
right. Right. To me that was like sharing something. And again, not knocking anybody. This is just how I felt, my observation. And I appreciate anyone that wants to do anything, wants to do something. But I just didn't understand to what degree this is going to affect any real change to the
Understood.
actual issue at hand.
Uh,
Because, like, again, we had the Kaepernick thing, we had the taking the knee, we had all these stands that were taken, and again, we've continued to see the same things happen in society.
Yeah.
So, what change is it actually bringing? And I know people say, well, you got to bring awareness, you got to raise awareness.
No,
Fine,
no, no,
I
no,
get
no,
that.
no, no.
That's
And
but
that's
that's what people say. But that's what people
yeah.
say to me. They say, we have to raise awareness. Some people aren't aware. I'm like, okay, cool. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think
No.
at this point, Gio, at this point in 2020,
People are well. People are well. Everyone are
very
well.
much. I am pretty confident that if somebody isn't aware, they don't want to be aware. You understand?
Exactly.
And so, and I see Julia is saying advertising dollars, but like, okay, what does that mean? What exactly
Now,
does that?
all right.
What?
So
Go ahead.
see, and I like that you bring it up. And the reason why I didn't see such a problem with it, and I actually applaud, is the fact that when you look at these franchises, all right,
Mm-hmm.
these big conglomerates, NFL, uh, NBA, MLB, soccer, tennis,
Mm-hmm.
all right,
Mm-hmm.
it may seem like sports, all right, like, oh, well, what is sitting out one game going to do?
Right.
And then you realize, well, this one game is going to be aired on this channel, or was slated to
Mm-hmm.
be aired on this channel, all right, for this time. That's viewership. Viewership is money. That's, like you said, advertising dollars. That's
Mm-hmm.
affecting finance. That's one of the things that instills change. You either have to cause people fear for their lives, or you got to hit them in the pockets. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime I see a team, and that ain't no small thing, all right, for 1, 2, 3, 6 teams to say, hey, look, we ain't playing,
Uh-huh.
all right, and for them to come together all together and do that and say, hey, look, we ain't playing. Y'all need to, and they calling out names. Hey, you in charge. Y'all go make sure something changed now, or we ain't playing. All right, that's what we need. Cause like you said, that's what's needed for change to happen. Because now you're affecting people's money.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Disney paid $10 billion. They saying, hey, look, y'all niggas, y'all better go pay. Y'all either play or y'all give us our money back.
But here's the thing, Gio. They are playing.
Yeah,
I just saw an article saying that, and this is what it all goes. See, now you can't. I don't like the illusion of sacrifice,
yeah, I
or,
got you.
or the illusion of action, right? Because you sitting out one game, all they do is postpone it. They put it off, and then you're going to continue to play. Now, had they said we ain't playing the rest of the playoffs, we ain't playing at all, maybe that would have a greater effect. But
Yeah.
one game, what impact is that one game going to have, especially when they're just going to postpone it? So those games will still take place.
Oh yeah,
that advertising money is still going to be made. And so, what actual sacrifice have you really made? And like I say all the time, like one, you gotta have a plan. We gotta have a plan. We have to actually get to the root, and we've had this discussion before. We have to get to the root of the issues, right? Why? Why are police allowed to do these things and not only not be arrested but get paid leave? What allows that to take place? What causes that? And who can change that? Who are the people that can actually change that?
Those changes come from all the people that have voted in. And we had this conversation before. And once again, that comes from black people coming together, uniting. And I can't, how should I put it? I won't, because I know that some of those a lot of players actually they put their money where their mouth is in terms of providing for neighborhoods, seeing
Mm-hmm.
that certain programs are in place. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like it would be unfair of me to say, well, oh, they ain't doing enough, because that takes a lot. It takes a
Right.
lot for them to
And
do.
I want to say, like I listen, I am not one to tell someone what to do with their money. Whatever you do with your
Yeah,
money, that's your business. It ain't your responsibility. If you choose to, wonderful. If you don't, then that's on you. I ain't gonna tell you
exactly.
what to do with your money. However, if I see you saying certain things or taking certain stands, then I would expect that same
Yeah,
kind of energy
energy. Yeah,
when it comes to the action part of what it
yeah.
is you speaking about so strongly. You know what I mean? And
I
so
got
it's
you.
not saying, oh, you all need to do this or you all could do more. No, that ain't my place to say you need to do more. You know what I mean?
I
But
got you.
if this is how you truly feel, then I think your actions would fall. And like you said, there are a lot of people that do things. Maybe they don't promote it. Maybe there's some people that do things behind the scenes. You got
Yeah,
people that promote it, like LeBron James, like what he's doing with the school.
yeah.
Excellent. And I
Got
said it, I shared it. That was major, excellent. Continue to do those things because those things are great and those
you.
things
Yep.
contribute greatly. I could never criticize or put him down for something like that. He will always be someone that put
I
his
ain't
money
lying.
where his
When I
mouth is. You know what I
when
mean?
I first heard about that school, I was just like, that blew my mind, dog. I
Yeah.
was just like, what? I was
Hmm.
like, this nigga make a school? He's like, yeah, I made a school. I was like, a
Yeah.
school?
Hmm.
And on top of that, like providing tuition for students. Okay.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, what people don't understand is like the quality of education that they are going to receive at that institution is just phenomenal.
Right, and
You
that's
know,
major, and that creates a major change. So again, this is not
you
a
know.
knock on NBA players, but
Yeah.
I see the way I
I
think.
understand what you're saying. I understand. I
I
understand
just
what you're
believe
saying.
I consider myself a solution based person, right? And so
Yep.
when someone comes to me, if there's a problem that someone comes to me with, I won't get all the BS and the nonsense out of it. Let's
Boom.
get to the core. What is the issue? And why did this happen? That's the only way we could fix it. And so I see a lot of people point to the police unions. Okay, so how
Dog.
do you go ahead? Because you seem to have some insight on the police unions, and I see a lot of people say that it's the police unions, and that's what
It's
it always points to.
it's ridiculous. Like
Okay,
it is.
how so?
It is. I forget what it called, but uh, it's something. It's a form of immunity that they have as cops.
Mm,
Okay.
hmm.
And I forget the actual term for it, but they have this immunity. It's just like, well, he's a police officer, so we can't charge them the same way we would charge a regular person.
Mm,
All
hmm.
right. Not only that, when it comes to investigations, we always try to figure out, well, why are police allowed to investigate themselves?
Right.
All right. That's something written into the union. It's also in the union. You like, oh man, I wish I had the PDF because my boy actually sent me a copy of it, and I'll ask him for it
Right.
after the show, and I'll send it to you. But
Hmm.
it goes on to say that, oh well, in the event that the worst happens, officers are allowed a certain time frame to get their story straight.
Interesting you said that because the story now just came out about the Jacob Blake situation 3 days later. So interesting you
Exactly.
said that because it's now
All
three
right.
days and they just came with their first accounts of what took
Exactly.
place.
They are
Mhm.
they are given. I forget how many days it is, but they are given ample time to get their
Mhm.
story straight,
Mhm.
and they're also given time to, I don't know, clear up social media. And that's why you see, like, oh, well, we saw that he deleted certain tweets or she deleted certain posts from her page. But it's just
Mhm.
like, yo, like, why are they allowed to do this? This literally tampering with evidence, mind you.
Right.
This time for the evidence that they allowed to do that. It's just like,
Mhm.
so how do you tackle that? And that comes with when people say, oh well, we want to defund the police. They ain't saying, now mind you, that episode up in what it was, Michigan, I think it was
Mhm.
Michigan, where they was like, oh, we just want to completely do it with the police. All right, mind you, I
Oh,
get what
yeah,
they
I know what you're
saying.
talking. Yeah.
I get what they saying, and I understand why they said what they said, because they had so many reparations to that one particular police department
Mhm.
and still having the same issues.
Mhm.
So at that point, it's kind of like, look, y'all making it clear that no matter how many changes we ask for, how many reformations come place, y'all still can do what y'all want to do. So we might as well just do away with y'all. All right, we might as well just do it. So I understand the frustration they were coming
Mhm.
from, but at the same time, when most people say defund the police, they saying, hey, look, stop giving them so much money. All right, they out there getting tickets, ticketing people. That money going to the police. So they say, oh well, this money going. They collect money, and through all these different means, they get money or any surplus military equipment,
Yeah.
they get, which is weird. Why would you want military
We know
gear in
why.
the hands of, and you dealing with just your own citizens, mind you? So why
Mhm.
would you want them being treated like enemies on foreign soil? And that's what y'all doing. Y'all showing up to these things in complete riot gear. The
Yeah, we
dudes
know
with
why.
people with their hands up and masks on,
Oh, and there was
literally
some
saying
ridiculous videos I've seen. Like, just they have their hands up and being sprayed in the face. It's
exactly.
it's
All right,
ridiculous.
no agitation, and I always tell people that says like, boy, like it's not until the police show up that you see violence.
Mhm.
All right, it'll be a peaceful
Yeah,
protest,
they
which they are
escalate.
allowed to do.
They escalate as
Exactly,
opposed to
they are allowed to
de-escalate.
peace.
Yeah.
Boom, they
Yeah.
are allowed to peacefully protest. It's their right to peacefully protest. So
Mhm.
why is it that them exercising their right to peacefully protest
Mhm.
is met with violence?
Mhm.
That's odd to me. And
Mhm.
people are saying, oh well, they shouldn't be out there protesting. That's their right to protest.
Yes, that's their constitutional right to
All right,
protest.
it's all.
Actually.
And then the thing is, everyone, not everyone. All right, it's funny to me because people had a whole riot about
Mhm.
wearing masks,
With
okay,
guns, and they had guns, right?
with
That's the armed
guns,
people, right? Yeah.
spitting on police officers,
Right.
shouting, pushing up against. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Well, let's get
Okay,
into that.
showed up at the, what was
Uh-huh.
it? I think it's City Hall. They showed up
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Or
All right.
Capitol Hill. Was it Capitol Hill?
No, no, no.
City
This
Hall.
was
One of those.
yeah.
It was a
It was
government
one of the
building.
city. It's a government
Yeah.
building. They showed
Right.
up there en masse with their
Mhm.
guns, and
Mhm.
they were telling the, oh, we don't want to wear masks. We don't want to wear masks.
Mhm.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine and dandy. All right. Please stop killing us. Get out the streets.
Yeah. Yep.
Get
And
out the
let's
streets. What are you
and,
doing?
and let's discuss that because of this incident, there were protests, and there was a white kid. Well, let me not
Yeah,
say kid.
17-year-old.
He was
He's a
17 years
man.
old. He's
70-year-old
a man.
man.
Yeah, because he was walking around with a gun. So he's not a kid, but they refer to him as a kid or young or whatever. But he was 17 years old, and I understand he shot 3 people, killing 2 of them.
Yep.
Protesters was
And
walking with his gun on in front of him, and was not apprehended that night.
bro, not see, that's the thing. When you say not apprehended, you make
Mm-hmm.
it seem like, oh well, he got away, like
Mm-hmm.
he slipped through our fingers. No, 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 no,
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 no. This dude shot 3 people, killed 2.
Mm-hmm.
The one that survived had his arm severed. All
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
missing an arm now. You have people running after him. When he comes in contact with the police, they're shouting at the police. He just shot those people.
Right.
He
Mm-hmm.
just shot those people. He just shot those people. They have a clip of him running and him saying, oh, I think I just killed someone. All right.
Mm-hmm.
They have a clip of him running saying that. Oh, I think I just killed someone. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He runs to the police, hands in the air, sling across his chest. Many people shouting at the police officers, hey, he just shot people. Hey, you with the gun, don't come down here. Don't come down here. Go away.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What? All right. Not only that, his mother drove him across state lines because he's not from there. He's from, I think, Illinois. So he crossed state lines
Mm-hmm.
to go protect other people's property. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
no, nah.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. You
You went
literally
looking to
gone
shoot
there.
somebody.
You
Yeah.
exactly. You went looking for
Yeah.
trouble, and
Yeah.
that's what you found. at the cost of two people's life and an arm.
Mhm.
All right, and people are just
Uh-huh.
saying the baffling thing to me was the sheriff or whoever was in charge down there. The first thing out of his mouth when he was saying, he was like, "Oh well, they shouldn't have been out after curfew. If they hadn't been out after curfew, it's possible this may not have happened." It's like, pause, pump the brakes. So you mean to tell me that because they were out after curfew, they deserve to be shot?
Mhm.
All
And
right,
that's what we get all the time with these incidents is those that will justify the actions of the perpetrator. And again, it's because if you look like me, then I, you know, more
instant,
inclined to defend
instant,
you.
man,
You know what I
instant.
mean?
So serious.
It's ridiculous that we see it so often. Like I said, I haven't been following much, but I just decided to look these things up to date because I heard about them, and I decided to, get more into it. And it's because it's like it's like we watch the same movie over and over and over and over and
I
over and
know,
over again. You know what I
I
mean?
know this
It's
ends.
yeah, exactly like once I hear the headline on it, at this point,
The
it's
cop gets off.
the title of the movie. It's like I know what's going to happen. There's never a plot twist. There's
Never.
never
The
surprise
biggest,
ending. We know the
the
movie.
biggest, the biggest plot twist was, get this, when they arrested George Floyd's murderers the next day. No, they fired them the next day. Sorry.
Right.
All right, which was the fastest that had ever happened. Okay,
There was
that
a lot
was
of
woo,
outrage.
plot twist. You know what another plot twist is?
What's that?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Plot twist. Amber Geiger goes to prison. Oh, boo hoo. I'm sorry for killing that man. I'm guilty. I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Years later, you know what her cry is? I don't deserve to be in prison.
Who was Amber Geiger? Now, which
Amber
case is this?
Geiger is the one who shot Botham Jean in his own apartment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
remember all the waterworks, all the I'm so sorry for your loss. I wish it
Right.
was me. Blah blah blah. And now
Right.
she's in prison, claiming that she doesn't think she deserves to be in prison
Hmm.
for what she did.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, well, 2 years, she's allowed to appeal her case. Chances are, and one of the leading witness,
Hmm.
all right, he's dead. He got shot. I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember that. All right,
No.
he he's dead. He was murdered. Okay, he was murdered, and they said something about it was drug related. Blah blah blah. So he's dead. So he can't even testify anymore.
Mm.
So one of the key factors in keeping her in prison is no longer there. So after she makes his appeal, she showed a whole, oh well, I'm so sorry, white tears, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Made everyone feel sorry for her, including the Jean family, which I hated to see. I hated to see every second of that. I hated watching uh his brother, hug this woman and say he
Oh
forgave
yeah.
her. I hated
Yeah.
watching the judge go and tell her, you're gonna make it through this, all this stuff, blah blah blah. I hated seeing every second of that because, as far as I'm concerned, black people are just the most forgiving. We are the
Why do you
most
think that is,
forgiving.
Joe?
I
Why do you
mean,
think that is? Let's
I
get into that. Why do you think that is? Why are we so forgiving? Because you just laid out like I ain't. I could be honest with you. It wasn't gonna be me going up there hugging her and telling her I forgive her after she just killed my brother.
no,
I ain't gonna
no,
be the one. So why
no.
do we tend to be so forgiving?
I mean, it's just for us. It's conditioning. It's conditioning. It's years and years, generations and generations of conditioning. We know,
Mm.
we know that. We know that
Hmm.
because we witness it. Our parents try to condition us. Their
Hmm.
parents condition them, and it's always this whole, well, turn the other cheek, and
Right.
you know, all that garbage. It's garbage. I'll call it what it is. It's garbage. It's garbage. Because I tell everyone, I was like, but look, if someone killed me,
Yeah.
please, please,
Yeah.
don't be looking like no fool on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I
Don't
agree.
make it seem, and everyone, I am pretty sure everyone that knows me
Mm.
knows this about me. Okay? I ain't quiet about certain things. If anyone ever do anything to my family,
Hmm.
like, I ain't staying quiet about that. I'm not
Yeah.
staying quiet about that. Ain't nothing. And the thing is, everyone's like, oh, well, you gotta forgive. I said, there ain't nothing wrong with forgiveness. I have
No.
nothing wrong with forgiveness. It's
Right.
how you approach that. I don't have to be all kissing up to you, showing you compassion to forgive you. I could just be
But
like, you know what? I forgive you, but forget you.
Gio, I don't even agree with you have to forgive. I don't even
You
agree
don't
with
have
that.
to forgive. You
And
don't. I don't. Let me say that. I don't have a problem with forgiveness.
yeah,
I also don't have a problem with people being
right,
unforgiven.
right.
All right,
But I
that's your
mean,
choice.
but like you said,
But
there's a lot of
I
people that was in
just
different.
have a problem with this whole condition because I hate it. They don't do it, and it's, especially when it's not returned. You don't
Yeah,
see that. You don't see that on the other side. You don't see
no, no,
people looking at black people. Oh, he's just a young boy. You
right,
know, he had a
right.
troubled start. There's a thug, gangster. You
Yeah,
know, this
it's not
nigger. This is
reciprocated
like
at
it's
all.
not the same. We don't
Yeah,
get the same treatment. So why are
no,
you going to continually? And I always say it. It's just like you always looking up to your oppressor. You always making
yeah,
excuses for your oppressor. These people literally oppressing you, and you sitting there. It's okay. That's who they are. They'll get
yeah,
better someday.
yeah,
I am sure there's good in them somewhere, and they're showing you no, but we don't care about you.
yeah. And I see Chrissy say the answer is because of white Jesus, which I won't lie,
It's true.
I
It is
agree.
true. It is
I
true.
agree.
And I tell
I
people, I
agree.
remember I had this conversation. It's like, oh, it irks me. It's like, oh, Jesus. I was like, y'all know Jesus ain't white, right? Oh, no, well, it doesn't matter. I was like, pause. It does. It
Yeah.
does matter. You want to know why it does matter? Because you have aligned your pigment with
Hmm.
divinity. So
Right.
anytime I think of God, I don't
Uh-huh.
see me. I
Right.
see you. That's a
Exactly.
big complex.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's
Very
the
much
whole
so.
white is right. That is what. That's the definition of white is right. White
Yeah.
is holy. White is better. All
Hmm.
right. So I have a huge problem with that. And to this day, people won't be like, oh well, we understand he's from the Middle East and this and that. Yeah, he's not white. Oh well,
Exactly.
no, he's not white. Say it. Oh no. It shouldn't matter what color. It does matter what color he is.
Exactly.
All right. The fact
Exactly.
that you can't even bring yourself to say that he is not white shows how much of a problem it is.
Yeah. And I see some blacks are so brainwashed. Good thing I
Yeah.
ain't driving today because I would have say some serious things. I mean, yeah. That's Chrissy.
They'll
Because I know that's like I said, we've discussed this for those that have been watching for a while. We've discussed this topic, on a number of occasions. We've had these discussions, but let's bring it home with the same thing because they say this a Christian nation, and I saw someone speak earlier about systemic racism in the Bahamas and racism in the Bahamas. How is racism or how has racism impacted us here in the Bahamas? Because I know it's a bit of a different dynamic because we are majority black. You
hmm
understand? So that doesn't mean racism doesn't exist. Oh, it does. It
no, it does.
exists. But it's a different dynamic and it's on a different level in this country. We don't necessarily experience the exact same things Americans do because,
hmm
like I said, the demographics are different. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on racism in the Bahamas and systemic racism in the Bahamas, if you believe there's such a thing here?
Well, I remember what was it coming back to the Bahamas in 2005, and I didn't know about Atlantis.
You didn't know
I
about it.
did. I didn't know. I had always heard about it, but I'd never seen it.
Okay.
All right, because I live in the States for 10 years. I came back. I was like, what the hell is that? So I
Right.
came back. I'm looking at this mega structure, and I'm just like, that's odd. Who owns that? Not us. Okay, who? Some South African guy. All right, cool. All right, fine. So you mean to tell me that no Bahamian had the idea of putting some mega luxury hotel on Paradise Island? I was
Mhm.
like, okay, cool, whatever, fine, whatever. I'm just thinking because I remember one time we couldn't sell property. We only could lease it.
Oh,
All
right,
right.
right.
All right.
Oh,
It
you
was
mean
just lease.
you mean you mean you mean foreigners couldn't
Yeah.
purchase; they could just
Foreigners
lease it,
couldn't
right? That
exactly.
was Finland,
Foreigners
right?
couldn't purchase. They could just lease the land. I think it was for max of 100 years, which is a long time.
99, yeah, something like that. You're 9900,
All right.
somewhere around there,
After
yeah.
that, you either dead, pass the lease on to whoever, and they have the choice of renewing that lease, or whatever's on their
Hmm.
property is forfeited to the government, which is
Hmm.
genius thinking to me. That's
Yeah,
genius because now
yeah,
your country is still 100% Bahamian owned.
right.
All right.
Hmm.
Now, if I go to the bank to try and get a loan, they can say asking me for everything.
Oh, of
All
course.
right,
Oh, I know.
everything,
Yeah,
everything. They ask me for everything,
right.
and on top of that, there's always the risk of, oh well, we decline your loan or we refuse you this loan, and then seeing as though I had to present my entire business plan to this corporation, they then in turn have this business idea that they can go and run with because they have someone else who has the money to back it. That's something that happens over here. And something a little bit more passive. I had to cut my hair to get a job. All right, people don't understand that, but that's how should I put it? That's a form of systemic racism in itself. Because at the end of the day, you're telling me what grows on my body isn't professional. What grows from my scalp, what grows naturally from my scalp is not professional. Who deemed that so? It wasn't my mommy. It wasn't my daddy. It wasn't my grandparents. It's people who came here and said, hey, we don't like the look. Yeah, y'all need to do something with y'all hair. That ain't professional. That don't look good. It's just like, well, that's a form of racism in itself. You're telling people they can't wear their hair a certain way. All right. It may not seem like it, but that's what it is, which is why they just passed a law in California saying, oh, well, locks are considered, they're not considered unprofessional to work anymore. 2020, 2019, I should say. 2019, and this just getting passed. All right. Now, mind you, I've seen that in some places they've dialed that back. At Bahama, you see people with their natural hair now. You see dudes with their cornrows, with their full beards, their locks, and I appreciate that because I don't care what anyone says. Hair, for some people, that's a part of your identity. All right. I love my beard. I wouldn't cut my beard for anything.
Yeah, I love mine too. It might be a little patchy and straggly, but
exactly. But that's your beard. That's your beard. You put love and time into that. That's your beard. That's a part of who you are. So for someone to come and tell you, oh well, you gotta cut that. We got a no facial hair policy. It's just like, why? Like, why do you have this policy? What about this is going to make me do my job better? All right, you telling me I have to strip away a part of myself in order to get this job, and I'm not even guaranteed this job. All right, so you see it. You see the little fragments of it in our society. I ain't saying it's a bunch of police. Mind you, we have police brutality over here.
Oh, yes, we have our own
I want
police
to see. You got a bunch of police brutality over here, my boy.
Oh, okay? Yeah, it's just not race-based, but
exactly. And the thing is, I won't say it isn't race-based. Okay? I won't say that because police do stereotype black people. Our black police officers still stereotype black behemoths. Oh, that one got locks. That one he's ride a dirt bike. Or he in a Honda. They stereotypes.
Or even it is race based when you think about it, because now that you said it, I remember some cases where there were white people. Like what was the case where the white guy beat up all those police on Bay Street?
Oh, that was Senior Frogs. He sent him to the hospital. Nigga break down and thing.
There was a white guy that beat up a bunch of police officers. Now, had that have been and we just recently had the incident where the police shot, the guys in the car. And there's still a lot of fishiness with that situation. But you can shoot those guys in the car, but you're trying to apprehend this white guy without using any deadly force. You understand? And so it does exist to a degree now that you say it. So yes, there is some race-based. It's just that, like I said, the dynamics, it may not happen as often because it's mainly dealing with black people. But like you said,
case in point, just look at the girls who hop the fence to go to the beach.
Yes, exactly. And let's get it, because like it seems as though that we and I'm saying generally, not me personally, but generally speaking, we seem to think because you are white, somehow you are better. Jesus. But somehow you are better. And it's like I'm not gonna lie, honestly, full disclosure, I came up with this mentality as well. Because we are conditioned with this mentality and not even know it. Because if I were to see a white guy in a Mercedes or a very nice car,
he worked hard for that. He worked hard for that, Greg.
I didn't even say he worked hard for it. That's
how it's supposed to be.
How it's supposed to be. But if I
see me in a Benz, drugs.
But if I see if I see a black person in a nice car, automatically I go to, well, how does this boy get this car? What illegal activity or what shady thing has he done to be able to afford something like this? And I had to actually step back and retrain my thinking. Like I had to every time, because it's like it happened for so long. That would be the first thing that came to mind. I had to stop it, catch myself, and be like, "Nigga, what is wrong with you? Why are you
Like,
automatically thinking this
trust
way?"
me. I
You know
I
what I
know
mean?
exactly. I know exactly what you meant. Like I said, I grew up in the States. Okay, I grew up in the States. I was the weird one out. I was the funny kid with the accent at school. All right. I was eating different food from everyone. Oh, that's weird. So it starts early over there, but all
Mm-hmm.
right. That was me moving to the States
Mm-hmm.
in grade 4 was the
Mm-hmm.
first time in my life I knew I was black and I knew
Mm-hmm.
I was a Bahamian. That was
Wow.
the first time I knew I was different. All right.
Mm.
I was literally the odd, but I was like, wait, this is odd.
Mm-hmm.
This is odd. Lose my accent. Niggas them didn't know I had an accent until they come to my house.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
Didn't know I had an accent until I come to my house. Till they come to my house. They was like, but what you just say? I was like, oh yeah, Dread. Y'all don't understand what I saying.
Right.
All
Right.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's just it's baffling to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
baffling to me how people just would be like, oh well, that doesn't exist. That's not real. That's not
Mm-hmm.
real. Sitting there, it's like, but what y'all have to realize is y'all been conditioned. Y'all
Oh
been
yeah.
conditioned to hate
We all are.
everything about you. You've been conditioned to hate from the color of your skin, the size
Yes.
of your nose,
I
the
mean,
hair on your head.
look at the bleaching epidemic. I mean, I
Oh,
still don't understand. And I remember one time
bro,
I been to one Chinese to buy some food. Don't worry, it wasn't for me because I don't eat Chinese food. But I was buying some Chinese for somebody, right? And oh Lord, poor girl. But she, they have this glass thing, right? And it's a little
hmm
hole you gotta push the money through. And when
yep,
she put her hands, right? Let me tell you, Gio, her hands and her face were completely different colors.
yep,
I mean, and I was like, I hope it didn't show on my face because it's hard for me to hide how I'm feeling on my face. But I hope it didn't show. But I was so hurt in that moment. I was like, oh my goodness, why? Why
right,
do women continue? And I got well in the Bahamas because Vibes Cartel them Jamaican they bleaching too. But I haven't seen any
yep.
Bahamian man bleaching. But why do our Bahamian women continue to bleach their skin? And to me, to be honest with you, it looked bad.
It does.
It never
It
looks
does.
good, and I'm sure
It does.
I'm sure it's harmful to the
It
skin.
is.
So,
Greg,
do we hate
I
ourselves
remember
that much that we would put ourselves in harm's way just to appear lighter for other people?
one, because this, and I always try to say, but like, it's deeply, people don't understand how deeply rooted this is. All right. Case in point, I remember the first time I saw someone with locks, a girl
Mm-hmm.
with locks, right? And I was like, yo, that's your hair? She's like, yeah, that's my natural hair. That's not. But I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Why? Because to me, like when I finally like took a step back and I realized, like I was like, well, like why you always perming your hair? Like you realize, like you
Yeah,
damaging your scalp.
yeah.
Like sooner or later,
I hate
like
perm.
you ain't gonna have this no more, right? She's
Yeah.
like, oh well, it's just easier. I was like, well, no, Dread, I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand it easier because the same time and effort you put into doing this, you could put into keeping your hair naturally. And
Right.
I stopped asking him and I was like, but like you ever tried to do your hair not like keep your hair in a natural style? Oh no, it just I don't like how it look. I said, why? That's a part of you. That's your natural hair. Why don't you like how your natural hair is? But Greg, I don't
Mm-hmm.
even like seeing. I wait. It's so. I don't even like seeing girls with bushy like them pencil eyebrows. So I was sitting there, I was like, "What you shaving your eyebrows for?"
Yeah.
Like literally, what you say?
Shave your eyebrow off the draw it back.
Why?
I listen.
To just to draw it back on.
I tell
And on
guys
top
all
of
the
that, sitting
time.
there, eyebrows serve a purpose. They keep dirt out your eyes, but that's why you're always squinting, not rubbing
That's what
your
they for.
eye, dusty.
That's what they're for.
Yeah, your eyelashes, your eyebrows to keep dust from
Oh,
out of your eyes.
yeah. I didn't even
They
know.
serve they serve a purpose. They're
Mm-hmm.
there for a reason, And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh well, I don't like how it look. I remember my cousin, she had a unibrow, all right, big bushy unibrow,
Mm-hmm.
and I never made fun of her that because I always thought it was one. I thought it was cool, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was different. I have a big thing about different. Anything that make you different, anything that naturally makes you different from everyone, I all with that. That's a
This is
part of that unique to you.
that's uniqueness. Yeah.
It sets you apart.
Right.
And she didn't have a problem with it either. But
Mm-hmm.
her mother was like, "Oh, we need to do something about this." I said, and I was like, "Why? She don't have a problem with this. She only could feel some type of way because of you."
And it's almost like a rite of passage too. At least when it comes back to the perm thing. Like for black women, it's like a rite of passage to perm their daughters. It's like they conditioned from so young to hate how their natural hair
Nappy.
looks.
It's nappy
It's,
hair.
yes, it's not. It's like just to hear them speak about their hair. It's like this is very sad because we doing it to ourselves now. You understand?
Yep.
I guess it originated from slavery or colonialism or something, but now we are the ones that are reinforcing these
Yep.
harmful ideas
That's just,
and passing
and
it
I
down
tell,
to our children, and it's like
that's
generation that it
just
just
so
keeps going.
that's just how deep it is. Because
Mhm.
how I keep telling people this. I say, look, you'll have to realize this. All right, when you're stripped of everything, literally stripped of everything, taken somewhere else, and someone is lording themselves over you, telling you every day, day in day out, you are inferior, you are less than, you are
Mhm.
not human, we are
Mhm.
better than, we are the
Mhm.
standard, and that's all. That's because you dealing with people, and people don't understand this. You dealing with people who were born as slaves, and
Yeah, yeah.
all right. So
That's all
whoever
they know.
was there, exactly, whoever was there to pass down traditions and customs from wherever they were, they've died. They've
Mhm.
died. They don't
Mhm.
pass it down anymore. That's been lost and forgotten. So all they know is slavery. All they know is white is right. All they know is I am inferior. I am less than. This is better. This is what I need to be. I need to be more like them. I need to look more like them. Even when you watch the Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington, all right. So I've seen in the movie where Denzel perm his hair. They call it. I think they call it conking in the movie. All right. He was conking his hair. All right. He perm his hair,
Mhm.
burning his scalp, mind you, painful. But
Yes, it is.
as soon as he touched that and slicked that back, he's like, yeah. And that's why I sitting there. I was like, why? Because it looked like the white man hair.
Mhm.
And as far as he was concerned, as much as he did look like, dress like, talk like, sound like the white man, he was good.
Mhm.
That's better.
Right, right,
So, and that,
right, and
like you
that's
said,
the problem.
we do it to ourselves because they were
Yes.
conditioned, and because they become so conditioned to think that's right, they pass it on. So we don't even have to do the job of our oppressors anymore because we oppressing ourselves.
Mhm.
Science.
Yeah. Yes. And I see. I think Dita was asking earlier. Yeah, here it is. So how do we break it? Well, this is what we have to do. Well, first of all, we have discussions like this, and you break it with your own children. Like me, for example, my daughter. Now, I only have so much control over it. However, I've expressed my desire to not have my daughter's hair perm.
Yep.
Have a natural hair, no perms, off limits. I don't want it to have no perm. And I continue to let her know how beautiful her hair is just the way it is. I tell her about how beautiful her hair is all the time. We have to begin to break the cycle ourselves. We have to first see ourselves as beautiful, as good enough. Firstly, we have to believe that within ourselves. And then we have to pass that on to our children, as opposed to continuing to pass on with, oh, this nappy hair child, you got to get your hair perm, you got to fix it, you can't go like that, that don't look good, you this, you that. We have to break the cycle ourselves. And so that's what we have to do to start to begin. And I think it's happening a lot because I see a lot of natural hair groups, and I see a lot more black women now
Yep.
embracing their natural hair,
Yeah.
their natural features, their
Love
natural
it.
looks. And so
Love it.
it's already starting to happen, which is a good thing. And we just need to continue to do those things. We have to continue to reinforce those things and do away with what we've been conditioned with coming up, believing that the lighter skin, the
Yep.
straighter hair, these types of hairstyles are better or more acceptable to
Yep.
society. So we have to first accept ourselves, and then we have to encourage our children to love themselves and accept themselves for who they are. So if you ask me, Tito, that's how we break the cycle. That's how we continue to move away from this idea that white is right and black is not.
I think another to take it a step further. Um, it also comes down to education. All
Mm-hmm,
right, because when we look at, especially in the West, all
mm-hmm.
right, when we look at the West, uh, history books are very biased
Oh
on
yeah, that's why
the
you
account.
break it. Is his
Exactly. So
story.
exactly. So I tell it has to start with what they're being taught because I don't care. No one says school is good, but school is also a form of brainwashing. Okay,
Mm-hmm,
because it's telling someone else narrative or what actually happened, which is
mm-hmm,
why. which is why stateside they only have a month for Black History. It's kind of
Mhm.
like, well, the reason why so many blacks don't know who they are is because they think when they think Black History, they think slavery. They don't think,
Yep.
oh
Yep.
well, they think history, their history starts with slavery.
Right.
It's only just come about where people have been more aware. Say, hey, look, mom, what we had in Africa was golden.
Hmm.
All right, it was ruined
Hmm.
because of slavery, because of what happened to us. But that's not where our history started. Our history
Exactly.
started with the Great Pyramids, with
Right.
all these the Moors. They don't even talk with the Moors like that, you know.
Right.
So it really starts with that knowing exactly where you came from.
Hmm.
All right, because if you just have in your head, oh well, I come from slaves, that's already a bad start.
Hmm.
All right. But if you think back, well, oh well, where are my ancestors? Where did my ancestors come from before they were slaves?
Hmm.
Well, and that's something that you can do. You can actually do that. You can go get your DNA tested, and they'll trace your lineage straight back to whatever part of Africa you were shipped from, your family was shipped from. And then you can take that a step further if you want to, or whatever tribe, with descent of this tribe, whatever, blah, whatever cultural norms, that tribe possesses, their traditions and stuff, you can learn that's a part of who you are. And when you
Hmm.
start to learn exactly where you come from, who you
Hmm.
are, you start to do away with some of the things that you become accustomed to because you realize that this ain't me necessarily. It's a part of me, but
Right.
that's also a part of me that I didn't
Right.
know about.
Right.
So that's another part of embracing yourself, truly embracing yourself.
Hmm.
Seeing exactly where it is that you came from, seeing that you were more than just the descendant of a slave.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. And I see Chrissy said slavery interrupted Black history. Uh,
exactly.
yes, so I agree. These are the things we need to do moving forward. And again, I saw you mentioned Black History Month, and I saw I forget, I think it's Daryl. Is it Daryl Dawkins, the guy that
The dude, the
converts?
KKK guy.
Yeah, converts KKK, and
Yeah.
he said it's time to do away with Black History Month,
Yep.
and I agree with him. And he said it had
I
a
do
place.
agree.
It was needed at a particular time, but now we need to, because Black history is a part of American history, a very
Exactly.
important part, and so
Very
it
important part.
needs Black history should not be relegated not only to a
To
month,
1 month.
but the
The
shortest
shortest
month of the
month.
year. That's like,
28 days.
come on, son, you give us the shortest month. So Black history needs to be every month.
All year round.
You
All year
teach
round.
it when you teach in George Washington or whatever it is you teaching in history. The Black aspects of the historical context when it comes to the United States needs to be taught as well. You understand? And so I agree with him in that regard. And like you said, we just need to embrace who we are and then pass it to our children. We can't continue with this whole thing that white is right. It's
Yep.
completely nonsensical, and we
And
allow
the sad,
ourselves to buy into
yes,
it. We need to
the
stop
sad
buying
thing
into
is,
that nonsense.
the sad thing is, like, just the same history, but it's funny to me because even some of the more current history books,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy how whitewashed it is. They'll talk about how uh, African Americans came, immigrated to the states, all right, and in search of employment, and it's just like, wait, what,
What?
what, what? When did
that's why,
this
that's why.
this
Listen,
is
I tell people. That's why I tell people all the time when it comes to history. Buddy, that ain't to me. That's
the
whoever
victim,
telling the story.
exactly,
That's
the
why
person.
I heard someone always break history up into two words. His story. And
Yep,
so when it comes to history, I'd be like, okay, that's what you say. Because like I
yep,
say all the time, we could have one car accident on Prince Charles, and if 16 people was there, you might get 16 different versions of how that one car accident happened, and that's
yep,
today. So can you imagine things that happened hundreds of years ago, 50 years ago? You can imagine how that has been translated now, or whoever tells you. So we get one aspect of that story. We only listen to that one person, and then we have to believe that this is exactly what happened, and this is the only thing that happened, the only way it happened. So we got to be careful with history. Not saying all the time it's wrong, but you got to be kind of careful. Be objective. Be open to other things. Don't just take one part of history or
and leave
some
out
kind
the
of
rest.
and leave out the rest. You
And
understand?
that's what happens. Because it's their story, they do their
Yeah,
best to keep their self in a positive light. But at this
all
point
the
in
time.
time, you need to, well, yeah, this dude was great. He accomplished great things, but this is the other side of the coin. All
Yeah,
right.
and so we just we
Boom.
just we just need to do a better job of learning who we are and continuing to pass on the positive aspects of who we are and our
Yep.
culture to our children, and not buy into this whitewash culture that has us believing that white is better, white is right, and for some reason that black is not. And so that's the only way we're going to be able to change it. Um, will it happen in my lifetime where we don't see racism on a large scale level? One can
I
only hope.
doubt it.
I can only hope. Do I believe it's going to happen? I don't think so, but I can only hope that it does, and I can only do my part, like I said, with my kids or anyone that I speak to or anybody else's kids. It doesn't have to be my children. I can tell someone else how beautiful their natural hair is. I can
Yep.
continue to do my part and just hope that in my lifetime we can see it be more equal as opposed to what it is now. And so, on that note, I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Gio. Appreciate your contributions
Yeah, man.
always.
Thanks for
And
having
I
me.
want to say thank you guys. Please share the video. This, I think, it was a pretty good discussion we had today. We need to spread
Yeah, that's pretty
spread
decent.
messages like this, messages of positivity. And so go ahead and hit that share button. It don't cost you nothing, and it don't take that long. So hit the share button. And until next time,